Good morning, Manta Rays. Welcome back to another episode of Rays Wrapped. I'm Lola Green, the editor-in-chief for The Wave.
And I'm Alina Wynn, the managing editor.
And we are so excited to be joined by Miss Tracy Jones.
Yay! Could you introduce yourself, please, Mrs. Jones?
Of course. My name is Tracy Jones, and I was a teacher for 20 years. I started in Ohio, and then I moved to Florida in 2007. I taught with Collier County Public Schools for 12 years, and when our youngest son graduated from high school and went to college, then so did I. I worked in the financial aid department at FSW for 4.5 years, and when this position opened, my current position, I knew it was perfect. I've been with Champions for Learning for a little over 2 years now.
Wow, very nice. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming. I'm so happy that you're able to make it and come back to our school. She was here while we won a grant for our journalism class, so she was one of the people that was here and presented it to us. And I feel like it was very appropriate for you to come, great timing because we're both seniors. We obviously know what it's like to search for colleges, how stressful it can be. So
Very stressful.
yeah,
Very
it's a lot to put on you. You have to figure out your whole life basically.
Everything by yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
And it took me far longer than it should, but
Well, first things first, could you briefly describe what your job as a college coach entails? I know it's kind of self-explanatory, but what exact services do you offer?
So at Champions for Learning, our programs are under the college and career prep umbrella. First, we offer college and career readiness through Take Stock in Children and our own newly expanded program, Pathways to Success. 8th grade is the entry point for Pathways to Success Foundations, and 10th grade is the entry point for Pathways to Success Accelerate. We also offer college access, such as FAFSA completion, resume assistance, college and scholarship assistance to all the high schools in Collier County.
so what exactly is Pathways for Success?
Yeah, so it's just kind of what we have sort of branded, I guess, our own kind of program. So Take Stock in Children is a state program that has requirements for mentor sessions and things like that. We have had a college and career prep kind of program, but we wanted to service more students in Collier County.
Okay.
So we've decided to expand that. And the way we did that was kind of separating it with Pathways to Success for the foundations for the younger students that are coming in 8th grade, but then also the older students that come in 10th grade, the Accelerate, to help them with that college, preparation.
Okay.
So it's just our branding of the expansion of
All right.
our own program.
Cool, thank you. So what made you want to be a college coach? I know that's a big question.
I have wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. I love working with my students, but I wanted more. When I went to FSW and learned so much about the financial aid piece, I saw how I could make a real and immediate difference in the lives of my students. So I've known about Champions for Learning since I moved to Collier County, but it didn't connect for me that this was an opportunity to use all that I've learned as a teacher and a financial aid specialist until my position opened. So a very good friend told me that I should apply, and I did, and I am forever grateful to him because I still get to teach students and share my love of college access and financial aid with students.
Why do you think it's helpful for students to have these resources, such as people like you, in order to make college decisions?
So I believe it's really helpful because you truly don't know what you don't know, right? Like Lola, you just said, it took you longer than it maybe should have to figure out what you wanted to do and where you wanted to be. So, students might have older siblings or parents who've gone to college, but things have changed a lot. Just in the past few years. For example, FAFSA had a major overhaul a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the FAFSA used to be about 108 questions, and now it's down to about 36.
Well, thank goodness. 108 is a lot.
Yeah. So it's very different. And then for students who are first generation in their family to go to college, the whole process is very overwhelming. So college coaches can walk you through each step, help with personal statements and resumes, work with you while you apply to colleges and to scholarships, and just be a sounding board for you. When the financial aid offers come in from the schools you've been accepted to, a college coach can help you understand the real impact on your family that those numbers hold.
What would you say, as a college coach, is like the hardest part of the college search? Because like I said before, I know for me it's just like finding a place that feels at home and I can see myself for the next, like, I don't know, like 4 or more years. I don't know, it's just been like quite difficult.
It's like we're going to get so homesick.
Yeah, it's like it's just hard to imagine yourself in a new place without like actually being there, I guess. I don't know.
Especially when like this is what we've known our whole lives.
Exactly, because I mean the amount of places that are like Marco Island is very little. Like there's none.
Minimal.
Like so it's like its own little bubble, and then you have to go out to the outside world.
You're right, it is. It's like, oh, I have to cross the bridge.
I know, yeah.
And like these huge cities too, like Missouri, and I'm going to Orlando. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It's very different. I agree that finding that right fit school, it can be really daunting. Like you said, especially when you have to leave your little bubble and go into this whole other world. But that's also a really good experience for you. But as a college coach and a parent, the hardest part, I think, is budget. Because, you know, you're trying to figure out the aid that you've received versus the cost of attendance that the school gives you. And that's an estimate, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really know if those numbers are going to hold true. You know, the travel and the personal expenses and the books, is that true and accurate? You really don't know. Tuition, yeah, you've got that, but the rest of it is kind of an unknown, and it can be very confusing. You know, I've looked at several students' portals for various universities, and the numbers on one page don't match the numbers on the next page. And so it's really hard to explain what that true aid offer is to students. So it takes some serious mathing ability.
Yeah, it's confusing too.
It is. It's really confusing. What does that actually mean for me? Like, I get the numbers on the paper, I see them, that's really pretty, but what does that mean for me and my family? And that's where college coaches can come in and shine. You know, we take that information that you receive from the college and we can explain it in a way that makes sense and you understand those financial consequences for your family.
All right.
What are some common mistakes that you see students make during the college application process? Because I know mine was not perfect at all. I had to go back and fix so many things, and I was like, oh, that's not right, and it was crazy.
So some of the things that I see, I would say waiting to apply because you think you have all of this time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no.
The deadline's yeah.
Wait, yeah, what do you mean that deadline is next
It comes
week?
up fast. It was like in October.
I know, because I pushed off. I mean, I didn't push it off to the point where it was like, what are you doing? But I pushed it off for a little bit, and it's just like, I don't know, it's even more stressful than it already is.
It does, and it, you know, we try at Champions with our students, but even now in the college access where I'm trying to get into the Collier County schools, like we're trying to push it a little bit earlier. So, for example, today at work, I have our juniors coming in to work on their personal statements.
Okay.
And they're due to me in June. So we've already done the presentation and now they're coming in for our work session because I feel like personal statements, especially when it comes to getting scholarships, you don't always need a personal statement to apply to college, but for your scholarships, you've got to be on point, right? You have to have your, you know, I's dotted and your T's crossed.
Check off every box.
You do. Everything has to be there. So I think waiting is a common mistake, even when applying for the FAFSA. I think students just don't read the directions. So, you know, when it says, we need your first semester transcript, they'll send it in November. Okay, you're not done with your first
Yeah.
semester classes yet.
Yeah.
So you have to read those directions, because especially for scholarships, I know if you don't follow the directions to a T, and even in those personal statements or the short answer questions that they have, if you don't answer every single part of the question, they throw your application out.
Yeah.
And you don't even know. You just get a message that says,
didn't get it.
sorry, you didn't
Yeah.
get it, but you never know why. So really paying attention to the details.
Yeah, that's a big one, because I've always, even with like schoolwork, I never read the directions all the way through. That's something I have trouble with. Could you walk us through the process of getting to know a student and coaching them?
Absolutely. As coaches, we are able to have one-on-one advocacy meetings with our students and the mentors if the student has a mentor. Some of our students do have mentors. So we try to involve mentors and families as much as possible. We can discuss grades, future plans, their summer opportunities, camps that they might have, expectations for our students. We try our best to have a close relationship with our students, seeing as how we're going to have some of them for over 4 years. In addition to the advocacy meetings, students will attend workshops, or we call them labs, with us. And that's like I was talking about, the personal statement one that we have today. And then we present information on resumes, budgeting, housing, FAFSA completion, dual enrollment, summer and volunteer opportunities, and other relevant topics for students who want to go to college or even join the workforce. We also offer our upperclassmen an opportunity to join the college tours to select universities in the state of Florida. All of this is free for our Champions of Learning students, but the time with our seniors, by the time they are seniors, we've developed a close relationship where we're writing letters of recommendation and working together with them to apply to colleges and scholarships. I can't tell you how many letters of recommendation I have written this year.
Yeah.
But now that scholarships are rolling in, I'm hearing that students have gotten them. So it's a really
It pays
exciting
off,
time,
yeah.
and it does. And I love being a part of that.
How can parents get involved and help their child in the process of applying to these colleges? Because it is a really stressful time.
It is. So parents are key. Parents can help their students, like I said, at those access points of 8th and 10th grade, apply for our program. But even if a child is not in our program, parents can still access our website for resources if they need help with something, if they have questions. When we go out to schools, we hand out our business card and say, hey, give this to your parents. Let them know that we can help. We want them to join advocacy meetings. We want them to be partners in their students' success. We like for them to attend labs if possible. And even we do FAFSA labs, but not even just for the champion students, for the students of Collier County. So we open our doors to any student who needs help completing a FAFSA. If they need help with a personal statement or a resume, they just need to call, and one of us can help do that. Also, watching for the school newsletters. Almost every school in Collier County has those.
Yeah.
And then checking for the virtual flyers on the CCPS website, I think, is really important too. We want to make sure that parents are in the know about what's happening, especially when it comes to junior and senior year.
Yeah, it's a big
'Cause
one.
It is. And like we've talked about, all of that stuff comes really fast.
Yeah.
And even harder for parents. It's hard, as exciting as it is to watch you guys soar and spread your wings. It's really hard for parents, and it's hard for parents to admit that. So,
Yeah.
getting them involved early, then that process, they're able to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit easier for them.
Yeah. I know my dad's having the hardest time right now. Like, for like months, he's just been texting me. He's like, I just had a dream you're going to college. Like he doesn't want me to go.
Yeah, it's like they've been pulling up my baby photos and been like reminiscing, and I'm like,
I
I'm
know,
not gone yet.
it's making me like sad though. I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll be having a happy moment, and my dad just brings it up. I'm like, okay, why'd you have to do that? Like, we're literally
Yeah.
like having a great moment right now.
But that's a really good perspective too, is that, it's hard for us to watch our babies go. But we sometimes forget what it was like to be in that position where we were the ones who were going and how
Yeah.
exciting that
Yeah.
was. And so it's, I think you're right. I think, parents need to remind that or remember that too, because, we don't want to harsh your vibe.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So to close out, I just want to ask, what is one piece of advice you think every upcoming college student should know?
So we've already talked about it a little bit. Don't wait until the last minute.
Yeah.
You've got FAFSA applications. So when you do a FAFSA application, there are federal and state grants that you are eligible for that are first come, first serve. So if you wait, you're going to get stuck and you might not get that extra aid. The application has to be completed each year. So don't wait to do that. It opens in October, typically October 1st of each year. Last year, it actually opened early. We were all kind of surprised. So get that done as soon as you can. Orientation for seniors. If you have not scheduled your orientation yet and you have an invitation, you better do that because the classes will go. They're first come, first serve as well. So they're not necessarily going to open up another section of a class for you if you wait on orientation. Schools don't have that opportunity to give you what you need if you wait. And then housing. So there is a shortage of housing across the country. So make sure that as soon as the housing application opens, that you're applying for that. Have you both done that?
I've started.
No, I know where I'm gonna.
I just committed to my school like this past weekend. Like I just committed.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but that's one of the things I am most concerned about it.
Yes. So make sure that you do that as soon as possible. It is super important because once it's gone, it's gone. And then you might not have on-campus housing. So a lot of students don't know that if you're renting an apartment that is not considered campus housing, like some schools have apartments that are campus housing, but if it's not, you have to wait potentially to get a refund of financial aid to be able to pay for that, or you're paying out of pocket if you don't get a refund. So the early bird gets the worm on that one, so get that done. And then for the juniors, just really being proactive, applying early action. Don't wait for regular decision if you don't have to. And you're right, those applications are due in October by November 1st. So as early as you can get those in, having the personal statements polished and ready to go so that you can start submitting those as early as, July or August when the application opens. Knowing where you want to apply, that's really important. Kind of start narrowing that down now. Paying attention to the deadlines for college and scholarships. And that's the best advice I can give. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. And when you get to college, please do your assignments before they're due. Don't be that kid that's working at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh my gosh, I have to finish typing my essay.
I don't want to be that kid, so I'll try.
Yes. So try to stay ahead on your assignments.
Perfect.
In life.
That was great advice, I think.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into another episode of Raise Rap, and thank you so much, Ms. Jones, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, they're always so fun. I'm so glad you could come in again.
Again, I'm Alina, the managing editor.
I'm Lola Green, the editor-in-chief.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes, have
Peace.
a great one.